A confidential document from Ferrari's engine division just leaked, and what it reveals is not what you'd expect from Maranello. Why would Ferrari, of all teams, choose lower peak power on purpose in the most electrified Formula One season ever? You're about to uncover the radical decisions behind Project 678, the real reason they're rejecting a split turbo, the structural battery innovation hidden inside the floor, and how Hamilton's input may have flipped the engine's entire philosophy. And here's the twist. Ferrari's new power unit might not win in a straight line, but it could destroy everyone in the corners. When Ferrari's internal document on their 2026 engine surfaced, the first reaction was confusion. This wasn't the kind of horsepower monster the Tifosi were expecting. Instead of leading the charge on split-turbo architecture or chasing maximum electric boost like Red Bull and Mercedes, Ferrari made a deliberate move in the opposite direction. Their choice: a compact turbo, directly integrated with the combustion unit, simpler, lighter, and more traditional. But the real revelation was what they sacrificed to make this system work: peak power. According to the leaked dyno runs, Ferrari's new engine is down nearly 30 horsepower compared to early Red Bull Ford simulations. And yet, they're not trying to catch up. They're doubling down. Why would Ferrari take this path? It comes down to what their engineers are calling energy integration harmony, a new design principle guiding every aspect of Project 678. Rather than chase raw power, Ferrari is targeting consistency and drivability. Their engine has been tuned for smoother torque delivery across a broader RPM band, meaning less spiking, more control, and better tire preservation. This matches perfectly with the 2026 rules, which cap internal combustion output and emphasize hybrid energy deployment. Ferrari is betting that in a world where you can't overpower your rivals, the next best weapon is predictability. But the moment this philosophy meets a high-speed drag zone like Monza, it could become a very public weakness. A major technical innovation hidden inside this philosophy is Ferrari's new silicon carbide, SiC, inverter, which governs the hybrid energy flow. Unlike traditional inverters, this system allows for faster, more thermally stable power cycling, meaning energy can be deployed and recharged with less degradation across race distance. But the SiC inverter isn't just about durability. It also enables precise modulation of electric torque, which Ferrari plans to use as a kind of traction control proxy legally. In essence, the driver will receive hybrid support exactly when rear grip is most fragile, stabilizing the car under throttle without triggering energy overuse. It's clever, and it's built entirely around making the car easier, not faster, to drive. Then comes the most radical shift: the battery. Ferrari's leaked documents reveal their 2026 car will incorporate a partially structural battery system, a lightweight casing integrated into the monocoque, saving weight and centralizing mass. That gives their chassis department more freedom with suspension geometry and floor shape, which could lead to major aerodynamic gains. It's also incredibly risky. Any compromise to the battery shell could mean writing off the entire structural integrity of the car in a crash. And because no other team is attempting this structural integration, at least publicly Ferrari will be the first to test this frontier in live racing conditions. One benefit: this design, paired with a tight turbo and clean packaging, allows for extreme airflow under the side pods, feeding the floor like never before. All of this plays directly into the feedback of one man, Lewis Hamilton. According to sources within Ferrari's test team, Hamilton has been deeply involved in shaping how the new engine delivers power. While Leclerc leans towards sharper throttle response, Hamilton has pushed for a more progressive power band that protects the rear tires, especially in long stints. Ferrari has responded by offering dual deployment profiles based on driver preference, with torque shaping modes embedded into the hybrid control system. Hamilton's influence doesn't stop at feel. He's also been working with engineers on corner entry balance, using hybrid drag modulation to stabilize the rear. It's the kind of driver-engineer partnership that Ferrari hasn't seen since Schumacher. But it also means the engine is being tuned for two radically different styles, which could become a strength or a disaster. Yet, despite all this technical harmony, there's one brutal truth that can't be ignored. Ferrari is playing a dangerous game by prioritizing balance over brute force. In qualifying trim, where everything is about deployment spikes and raw extraction, they may simply not have enough firepower to hold pole. If they fall back on the grid, they'll have to fight their way forward with consistency and tire life strategies that work over 50 laps, but not over a single flying one. If the likes of Red Bull or Mercedes can build engines that maintain enough control while still delivering that knockout punch, Ferrari may find themselves beautifully balanced and fundamentally outpaced. And that's the tension driving every decision in Maranello right now. Ferrari's engineers believe they've built a smarter engine, one that understands the limits of the 2026 regulations and exploits their gray zones with elegant, legal sophistication. But in Formula One, being elegant doesn't always mean being fast. Ferrari is trading power for precision. If they're right, they'll redefine the sport's hybrid era. If they're wrong, they'll be remembered as the team that brought a scalpel to a sword fight. As news of the leak spread through the paddock, rival teams immediately began cross-referencing the data with what they had already observed through simulation comparisons and paddock whispers. Red Bull's technical group reportedly flagged Ferrari's lower top speed projections weeks ago, but dismissed them as conservative test profiles. Now, with the leak confirming the numbers, attention has shifted from disbelief to concern. Because if Ferrari really is running a lower output engine by design and still generating competitive corner exit speed, then it implies a level of mechanical grip and chassis balance that could make them devastating over race distance. In a regulation era that limits peak power but values efficiency and stability, this could shift the championship equation entirely. Mercedes, meanwhile, is said to be politely skeptical. While respecting Ferrari's innovation, they question whether the Italian team has over-engineered a solution for a problem that didn't need solving. Mercedes insiders point to their own dual deployment strategy, one for qualifying, one for race conditions as a middle path between brute force and balance. Their power unit, unlike Ferrari's, is designed to flex between aggression and control on demand. It's a more adaptable system, and one that doesn't sacrifice peak output. But the question remains, can Mercedes maintain energy stability and rear grip while also hitting those power spikes lap after lap? That's where Ferrari's approach, with its flat torque delivery and low thermal degradation, could offer a quiet but deadly advantage. Ferrari, for their part, are keeping quiet publicly. But internally, the leaked figures have intensified pressure on the program. Leadership is now faced with a growing dilemma: continue perfecting a system designed for consistency or push for late-stage power upgrades to defend against qualifying weakness. The risk of chasing both paths is enormous. Engine departments working under cost cap constraints cannot afford to hedge bets. You either optimize for one concept or dilute both. Ferrari's engineers are acutely aware that any deviation from their current roadmap could destabilize the entire integration between combustion, hybrid systems, and chassis geometry. It's a knife-edge scenario: change nothing and risk being underpowered, or change course and risk losing their only advantage. One unexpected side effect of the leak has been a recalibration of expectations around Ferrari's 2026 title chances. Before the document surfaced, most analysts assumed Red Bull, Ford, and Mercedes would dominate the new hybrid era, with Ferrari fighting for opportunistic podiums. Now, there's genuine uncertainty. If Ferrari's chassis is as light and balanced as insiders suggest, and if their energy deployment is as consistent as the SiC inverter tech allows, they might not need to win the straight-line fight. They could instead dominate in sectors that prioritize traction, mid-corner speed, and tire life. That makes them lethal on street circuits, twisty tracks, and variable condition races. And across a 24-race calendar, that kind of consistency adds up fast. However, there's still a huge elephant in the room: Ferrari's qualifying vulnerability. Formula One may have evolved into a strategic sport, but track position still dictates outcomes. If Ferrari regularly qualifies third or fourth, they'll spend more time in dirty air, undercut traps, and defensive stints. No matter how refined your deployment system is, if you're stuck behind a car with a DRS advantage and aggressive energy mapping, your lap time potential is compromised. And unlike Red Bull's Verstappen-led juggernaut or Mercedes' aggressive launch packages, Ferrari's current setup doesn't yet have a proven race star punch. That's not just a tech issue, it's a strategic red flag. Inside the team, Hamilton's arrival is already influencing how this dilemma is being managed. Known for his ability to nurse tires, manage race flow, and adapt to unpredictable stints, Hamilton is the perfect driver for Ferrari's control-based engine philosophy. But Leclerc remains the wild card. His raw speed, especially in qualifying, could clash with a power unit that doesn't give him the instant response he thrives on. Balancing both drivers' demands under one software architecture will test Ferrari's technical unity like never before. And if one side of the garage starts outperforming the other, it could ignite political tension, something Ferrari can't afford in a season that will require total cohesion to execute their unique engine concept. All of this leads to a single critical question. Will Ferrari double down on what they've built or buckle under competitive pressure and try to chase the horsepower curve late in development? The leaked report has removed the cloak of secrecy from their program, but also handed their rivals a playbook to attack its weaknesses. Red Bull knows Ferrari may be vulnerable in qualifying. Mercedes knows the turbo philosophy is static. And if either team finds a way to replicate Ferrari's energy control while maintaining peak power, the advantage of Project 678 could vanish in weeks. That's why every update, every simulation run, and every public silence from Maranello is now being watched with forensic intensity. Ferrari's engine is no longer a mystery. It's a target.